everyone, and welcome back to Planet Zoo. We are once again working on our twisting Taiga Zoo. Today we are building snow leopard habitat. Yay! So this first part is me realizing how much actual space I have accidentally allocated to the snow leopards, which not a bad thing, but an interesting thing, right? Because they obviously do need lots of space, especially if you're going to have, the two, one male, one female in there. Because traditionally out in the wild, you're not gonna find a male and female snow leopard living together, so it made sense in my head why I had such a large space, but also I don't think I realized as I was building the other habitats and as I was working my way up the mountain, like how much actual legitimate space I had. So I was like, I'm gonna make it pretty. It became blatantly obvious to me while I was working on the snow leopard habitat that you can tell when it's an animal I really like or enjoy or like know a decent chunk about or have a more solid interest in, because their habitats look 1,000 times different than a animal where I know next to nothing about or have almost no interest in. Like, not saying those animals aren't valid and not saying but it's very, very obvious. Like, you look at the red panda habitat, you look at the Siberian tiger habitat, you look at the snow leopard habitat, and then you look at like the Japanese macaque habitat. Even the giant panda habitat is, in my opinion, nowhere near as impressive. And the Formosan bear habitat, like the llama habitat, those are all very simple compared to the snow leopard, the tigers, the red pandas. Like, you can tell, like, oh, she likes those animals more. And like, I tried, so after the snow leopard, I built the Dall sheep habitat. I did try to give them a nicer habitat, but still, like, it's nothing compared to this habitat. Like, the red panda habitat is still very much one of my favorites I've ever built, but this one, like, it just worked out perfectly with like the vision I had in my head for it. I say perfectly, there were a few small tweaks I did have to make. Like, you'll notice at this point I still hadn't actually made the barriers because I didn't know how to make the barriers. This was a very, like, I ended up making this like 3-tiered, right? And then 2 of those tiers were accessible to the snow leopards. 2.5 tiers were accessible to the snow leopards. Oh my gosh, don't even get me started on these freaking escaping animals. If you've seen my previous Twisting Taiga videos, you know that once upon a time, these logs were a valid barrier. They were valid. I set it up, and there was no escape points. It was a solid wall as far as the game was concerned. There was an update. It was pre-African animal update. And the logs were no longer a valid barrier for animals. Bears, tigers, they can all just shimmy out the side of them. So I had to stop using them. For the most part, I've subbed in the log barrier type instead of going with a null barrier and the logs, but it's fine. It's fine. So I just, once in a while, an animal will escape through a spot that I've missed to go through and rock up or wall off or something. So we're slowly fixing where the logs are. So that was just a side tangent, whatever. We're fixing the zoo as we're going. So the snow leopards, I did try a little bit to incorporate a different color of rock. I am not, however, good at this yet. I'm not good at incorporating multiple rock styles or diversifying it in that respect. I have to work on it. I have to be more conscientious of it. I end up, because this is a taiga zoo, and because of how focused I am on that, I end up very focused on it, and I end up just, okay, I filter it by taiga, and then I might sub-filter the continent the animal is from, so that the animal has the specific plants and stuff it needs. Some plants I just know off the top of my head, like, they're good everywhere. They're good with almost all the animals in that biome. Or I know, like, this animal lives in the Himalayan mountains. It needs all the Asian plants. Like, I know these are from Asia. Like, at this point, I've got a pretty good handle on all of the taiga flora and fauna and, like, what goes where. So I was really trying ahead of time before I put the animals in to make this as traversable as possible. So I had put that climbing log in thinking, like, oh yeah, snow leopards need to be able to climb, which actually not true. They don't need to be able to climb, which I guess makes sense since they do spend all their time in, like, a snowy, mountainy type biome. It's not, like, super wooded, so I guess they wouldn't necessarily need to climb. They can climb. And I did include, obviously, those couple of climbing logs, but in terms of enrichment and stuff, they don't need that. I did make this 3 tiers. So this turned into, that area actually ends up turning into their little home. So the thing with the snow leopards is that they can, so here's the thing, is that I thought they could climb out of things of a certain elevation. Turns out they can just straight up jump over rocks this height. Like, the standard, like, that rock is their jumpable height, apparently. Like, their jumpable height is obnoxious. And, like, I knew they could jump, but, like, I was surprised at how far they could jump. And I was a little bit annoyed because I had taken the time to try and make this area near the right side of the waterfall traversable for them. And honestly, if I had just left it like that, initially they probably, like, it was saying they couldn't, which the height difference between the two, like, waterfall sets were very, very similar. Like, I thought that was a lesser jump because they can make that jump. Like, they can make that waterfall jump. where the tundra rock is, that gray rock, like they jump up there all the time. Like the babies don't necessarily, but yeah, they do. Oh, this was me showing my zoo to that was me showing off parts of the zoo and the different animals. I was like, can we talk about how large this habitat is compared to these habitats? And like, this is what the zoo looks like at this point. Which is honestly like pretty impressive when you think about all those trees and rocks and terrain are handmade. Like nothing is... I deleted all the trees that were in the bounds of the zoo. I deleted any... Like they don't really have any rocks or anything. But yeah, like it was just all mostly flat taiga terrain with some trees scattered around. Like it really wasn't much. So then we get back to decorating. Sometimes I'm just so meticulous with where things were, and I was really like, okay. And in my head, when we were building the safari zoo, I really, really struggled with the hyenas would escape up the side of my rocks. And since then, I've been very like, oh, animals can climb up the sides of the rocks. Like, but apparently, like, most animals can't. Like, I'm constantly surprised by the animals that can and cannot get up the rock formations when I have purposefully set them up very similarly to how they were set up in my safari zoo, and I had animals escaping all the goddamn time. Like, how come when I want the animals to be able to climb up, they can't, and when I don't want them to, they can? Like, the heck game. And I know some of it is like updates and stuff, and they change what the animals can and can't do, and what's traversable and what's not, and I get it, but also like the way those rocks are set up make it look like a baby penguin could hop up there. Like, I was like, I'm not gonna lie, I was just like, oh my god, these little shits are gonna escape from every direction. Like, I've had such an issue with animals escaping. My zoos are not secure. My barriers are not secure. So I'm like, all right, we gotta make sure they can't get out, right? And it looks pretty good, but I'm like, I know they're gonna destroy my life. I'm gonna put them in here, and it's just gonna be red. Like, they can escape here, they can escape there. Like, they're gonna escape from freaking everywhere. So I was like, alright, let's pop them in. Let's see what we got going on. I was nervous. I'm not gonna lie, I was nervous for this one. I was like, this is gonna end so badly. I was trying to be so confident, like, yes, we got this. This is gonna be fantastic. And I don't know why. Okay, this actually ended up turning out very cool. Like, this would be such a cool experience to walk over top of the snow leopard exhibit. First of all. Second of all, I had the wherewithal to put railings on it. Probably could have put different railings, but I wanted the snow leopards to be able to go under it, and I didn't want to mess with that at all. And I didn't want to accidentally put something climbable underneath it. Like, I just didn't want to take that risk. I was like, what if they can climb up, like, the log walls or something that I've been using for railings and walls and stuff in other areas? Like, what if they can just scale a stone wall? Like, I don't know. And then I was like, And like realistically, like I was thinking about it and what I was watching the snow leopards do, and I included some videos of it later on. Like I was watching what these were doing, and I'm just like, are you sure they can't jump onto the path? Like, are you really sure about that? Because I'm like 80% sure they could jump onto that path. Like that railing is what's stopping them. Like, I don't know. This was so then I decided to make this into their little shelter. Like it really lended itself really nicely to it. It was really secluded in the back corner. It would piss off guests royally if they were up there. I just like, yep, this is their home now. And then I was conscientious too of where I was putting climbable trees, because I'm like, I'm pretty sure the snow leopards could climb the trees, so I didn't want to. And then I was thinking, oh, like they need to be able to get up here. Like I'll put some climbing poles up, like, and see how that goes. And like the climbing poles just don't make the area traversable. This has been a few times now where I've tried to use like the climbing poles or platforms, and it just hasn't worked out the way that I've wanted it to. So now they're in, so now I can, you know, it's calculating the space, and I'm just like, excuse me? It is traversable. I don't know what you're talking about. Like, the space I was trying to give them and the space the game wanted to give them was not anywhere near close. And I was like, like, I'm sorry, what? So I was trying all sorts of different things, and ultimately I just opted for the terrain edit, right? Like, this was all well and good, but good lord, the climbing platforms are the most obnoxious way to try and do something. And like, if you guys know why this didn't work, please, by all means, tell me why this doesn't make it traversable. Like, they can climb up there. It's a climbable space. But you're really gonna tell me that they can't then go on it? Like, I know they can go on the rocks. Like, I know that is a thing. And like, there is no reason a snow leopard could not jump from that platform. I was just, I was annoyed. I'm like, I have this beautiful habitat. You guys are making me mad. So I went the terrain route, and I was like, all right, fine. I'll smooth it out. I won't have a little cliffy cliff. We'll have a little rampy ramp instead. And sure enough, everything is now traversable. And they can escape out of everywhere. And I was like, of course. I didn't even know where to start. I was like, are you kidding me? So I was like, okay, where are these posts? Like, let's make sure we have an accurate assessment of where these fence posts are, first of all, because that will throw off our climbing out nonsense, right? So I moved those a little bit, and we reevaluate. Like, okay, where can we go from here? And snow leopards, man. Like, not as bad, but still pretty bad. So we're like, all right, let's see what we can do. So I had to add more rocks, because obviously, and I had to make sure like I wasn't stepping them, because the snow leopards are an animal that can step up and jump up rocks, which I knew they could. I don't know why this was a question. Like, they can jump out of that area, but they can't freaking jump up the cliff I had. I don't know. I'm moving past it. I don't know why we couldn't jump up the cliff that I had initially. Maybe it was just a hair too big. I don't know. So, because now it's telling me they can jump up all of those rocks. And I'm like, they're pretty close to the standard height. Like, they're really not, like, sunk into the ground that much, I didn't think. But, all right, we'll cover them up. And, like, they're really going to tell me that they could jump up those rocks, but they couldn't jump onto the path. The path was just high enough. Just high enough. They couldn't jump up onto it. I don't know. It's like, I'll take it. Sure. Somehow we got it to think that the animals were secure. So I was like, all right. Next step. Get rid of all this long grass. Animals hate long grass. Like, it drives me crazy that the default is long grass. Like, I understand why long grass is the default, but it shouldn't be. Like, not every animal likes short grass either. I understand that, but I'm gonna say 90% of the animals I've worked with in the past, I'm recording this in July. 7 months I've been playing this game. I'm gonna say 90% of the animals have disliked long grass. Like, they want at least less than 20% of long grass in their enclosure. So the fact that long grass is the default is just annoying. And obviously, like, I know based on your biome it changes a little bit, but like savanna, long grass, taiga, long grass. The exception was the tundra zoo where I built the polar bear sanctuary. That was, the default was like snow and like shorter grass or rock or something like that. You can ignore the back of my mountain. That's totally fine. It's purely like just the mountain parts I need. I couldn't find the rest of the long grass they didn't like. Like, I have no idea where it was. I really was annoyed with it. But snow leopards don't like a lot of foliage. So I was like, all right, like, pop in some bushes. Call it good. You just need a couple of bushes, couple of trees. Make sure you buttheads can't climb onto a path. It'll be great. It'll be great. One of these days, like, I've seen a couple of other people do it where, like, you have, like, a glass walkway for the people to go through or for the animals to go through and they go over or under each other, whatever. Like, that would be really cool, but also, given my affinity for making things escapable, maybe not the greatest idea in the world. So the habitat itself is done at this point. The next 10-ish minutes are just the decoration around the exhibit, and I built like a little plaza on the top, and I have been talking for a long time without realizing it. I built a little plaza up on the top for the people. This is a zoo. I did go through and add some educational things in here and there. Sometimes I forget about the educational things, and like at the very beginning I was doing like statues and stuff, and then like kind of just forgot about statues and stopped really doing them. But to be fair, I did the statues for the llamas and the red pandas, and I think I put some near the Japanese macaque area, like those specific animals. Snow leopards don't have a statue. It makes me sad. Snow leopards should have a statue. I mean, we've got the big cat, but that's very clearly a tiger. Snow leopards are built slightly differently than tigers. Like their body shape is just a little bit different. I mean, I know they're called a snow leopard, but what big cat are they more related to? They're not actually like a leopard. I don't remember off the top of my head. I know all sorts of weird, interesting animal facts, and sometimes they're right there in the forefront of my head, and sometimes they are not. So we're just going through and decorating, and it's hard because, you know, you have the rocky wall that happened when I built the mountain and stuff and the path work, but then it just always looks, I don't know, the rocks make it look uniform and boring, but they also, I don't know, I can't tell. Like, it's weird to have just the terrain there, because there's a couple places I have just the terrain and I like it because of how the spacing works, but like I need gaps filled. Like I don't like just having these big open gaps of stuff. So like all of that empty space around the path, like I need to fill that. Making sure there's enough garbages, making sure there's benches, all that fun stuff. Plants, rocks, trees. I have gotten way better at putting trees in last. I've learned rocks first, then plants, then trees. Trees make it a bitch to put anything in after them. Because I've had to go through and like fill in space and stuff before and like edit stuff or change stuff, and trees just trees make things a chaotic nightmare sometimes. Like here, like the tree was trying to take the freaking educational board. It was like, oh here, let me help, let me put it up my tree, and it's like, no, I don't want it up the tree. I think I've mentioned before, but these pre-made education boards that I use with the conservation board and the speaker attached came from the STEAM workshop. There was a whole set of them, and if you pay attention to my build menu, you can see them in there, and it's just educational boards, and they were one of the first ones that came up. They're really handy, really helpful. I have built my own educational boards and conservation boards, but it's just, they did such a great job with it, and it's so useful to have all those things in there. I keep finding myself going back to them. Like I haven't been able to build any that I like more than that. So I do continue going back to those educational boards. Conservation boards I've had a lot more patience for building, but just not like the whole set. So my first thought was to have like buildings and stuff up here, but then I decided a vending machine area might be better. We're realistically 3 animal habitats away from the Panda Cafe, and the Panda Cafe is like at the top of the hill, and you've got the Tiger Side Plaza at the bottom of the hill, which also has a ton of buildings and shops. So I'm like, you know what, we can do, you know, the bathrooms and the vending machines. That's fine. A little place to sit down, to rest a bit, like next to the snow leopards. If like you made it to the top of the mountain, you're gonna start your descent. I kind of wish they had like activities for guests, if that makes sense. Like I could put in the exhibit buildings, but there's no taiga animals, so having random, I mean, I could do forest ones, but I don't, that just doesn't really fit, right? I just wish there was something else, and I don't know what. There's something missing, right? And like, I know you can build your own fountains, and I know you can do your own statue stuff, but like, I just need an activity. Like, I keep going back to like just a small little playground for the kids. Like, even if it was just like a slide and a swing, or like just like a climbing thing, like monkey bars, or just like a jungle gym or something for them to climb on or do. Like, I feel like there's usually some sort of activity like that, especially when you get like a rest area like this. Like, you have something for kids to do. Right? Like, it's not just, I mean, yeah, you have a sit down and you know, get a snack or whatever, but like, realistically, there should be a different option. And I know with the zoos and stuff, it's generally like, oh, let's go see the next one, let's go see the next one, let's go see the next one, let's go see the next one. But kids like to play, and I know there's animals that you can do like the walk through for, and like the people can be part of, or they can go through the habitat or go into the habitat, but I don't think I am including any of those animals. The taiga is a lot of carnivorous animals or omnivores. Like, it's not really a whole lot of like herbivores. I think llamas are the only one, and I don't think llamas are ones you can go into the habitat for. And like, you've got the rides and stuff, but those aren't really like rides, those are transport rides. So it would just be nice to see something more for the guests, since it is like a zoo base, and it could even be educational. Like, I know there's the animal talking points, but there are animals where like the zookeepers can have them out and like do the educational things with them, like the parrots or like baby alligator. You know, there's stuff, right, that zoos do to keep people entertained and interested and add a little bit more depth to it. Like I said, there could be a whole slew of ideas. There could be almost none that are realistic for the game, but I think like just even climbing frames for the kids, their little monkeys, would be interesting. Like, because I've seen on the Steam Workshop where people have like created them for aesthetic purposes, but that's so annoying. I get it, because like I said, like, it feels like you're missing that piece to it, but also why add something purely for aesthetic purposes? I want functionality. I also don't want a monkey to escape and think that it's got a climbing frame to go play on. I don't know. So yeah, it could be. It's a thought. It's a thought, okay? It doesn't say it had to happen. It's just a thought. Also, the new pack is African. Like, don't get me wrong, like, meerkats are super cute. Like, I'm super excited to get to do something with that and the other animals they added. But like, I wanted, well, maybe in the winter they'll give us something wintry. Maybe. I just want more other animals. All right. We're pretty much almost, yeah, we've got like a minute and then it's to the pictures and stuff. So that's pretty much all I've got. I hope you guys have enjoyed this build. This is one of my favorite builds. Like I said, snow leopards are my absolute favorite animal that is included with this game. So I love it. Some of these videos and stuff I took pre-decorating around the outside. Some of them I took after. So it's going to be a little hit or miss with what's around the outside of it. But overall, I loved how this came out. And I got some good shots of them jumping up and down the nonsense rocks. So, yeah. I hope you guys enjoy. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.